Om Hridayo Kamalamadhe Rajitang Nirvikalpam Sadasadakilo Vidatitamika Sarupam Prakriti Vikriti Shunnam Nityam Anandamurting Bimala Paramahangsam Ramakrishnan Bhajama. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We worship the stainless Paramahansa Sri Ramakrishna, which shining in the lotus of the heart, the changeless, absolute, beyond all distinctions of being and non-being, the one existence, devoid of all modifications of nature, is eternal, stainless, and the embodiment of bliss absolute. Our salutation to Sri Ramakrishna. Om peace, peace, peace be unto us all. Today our topic is who is Sri Ramakrishna. It is a particularly a deep question to understand for us who are really practicing in our life as Sri Ramakrishna is the goal of our life. Which Ramakrishna we are worshipping and who is he? This is a very deep question, because there are so many ideologies, there are so many forms of gods and goddesses we worship in Hindu tradition, and why then another form, which is Sri Ramakrishna form, is added to it to add another diversity into it. That's why it is very important to realize and to contemplate on whom we are meditating. Most of us who are here, we have made Ramakrishna the pole star, or goal of our life. But which Ramakrishna? Which is that man? Which is he? He is a person, he is a saint, he is a holy man, he is a sadhaka, he is a experienced, extraordinary, some spiritual things, or what is that we are worshipping? Unless that is clear, our attainment is also hazy. Here we find that in this Swami Vivekananda has defined Sri Ramakrishna in various ways. Particularly the poem where he has composed the praise about Sri Ramakrishna, he has defined Sri Ramakrishna in a very beautiful way. He said that Sri Ramakrishna is Shangshayo Rakshasho Nasho Mahastram. It's a beautiful way of looking at Sri Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna is that weapon which severs the bond of ignorance and doubt. In spiritual life, we have our doubts, and we are all moving towards that ultimate knowledge. We are hearing every time in Vedanta that I am Atman, I am Brahman, you are Brahman, you are Atman, and only we don't know because of our ignorance. And who will help us in this way to get out of this conflict and confusion about ourselves, about the divinity and the connection between us? Here Sri Ramakrishna stands as a unique example, unique personality who stands to sever the doubt of our mind. And he is that. That's why he Guru. Sri Ramakrishna has been depicted as the Guru of Swami Vivekananda. That's why next line he said, Yami Gurung Sharanang Bhavavaidam. I am taking refuge in that Guru who is the physician to destroy the maladies of these worldly sufferings. Bhava Vaidyam. Bhava means samsara. Samsara means this ocean of this duality in which we live. And he is there to Vaidya, as a physician, cures the disease. So Ramakrishna stands there to cure the disease of worldliness from our mind. And also he is the Samshaya Rakshasa. This is the demon which is always covering our vision and understanding and not allowing me to see what is the truth. And Sri Ramakrishna is the embodiment of the truth. But it is difficult to perceive because we have our doubts. And Sri Ramakrishna helps us to cross the doubts. And what is Sri Ramakrishna? And it is Swami Vivekananda defined here that Shakti Samudra Samutha Tarangam. In the Shakti Samudra, the ocean of this power. This world is a manifestation of power. There is one absolute truth that is called Brahman. And whatever we see this world, it is a manifestation of power, Shakti. And that ocean, from that ocean of that Shakti, there arose a huge wave, Samutta Tarangam. And that Taranga, this wave, which is Sri Ramakrishna, is manifested, Bijrimbhi Tarangam. In diverse ways, it manifested, showing the prema, the love for humanity, to cure the sufferings of the human beings who we are. That infinite absolute taken the form of that Sri Ramakrishna, and he is manifested to destroy the doubts of the hearts of people. And I take refuge into that guru, that teacher, spiritual teacher. And who is Sri Ramakrishna? Sri Ramakrishna has been mentioned by Vivekananda here, that his mind, Advaya Tattva Samahita Chittam, his mind, we want a role model in our life. We want absorption in God. We want to be established in the bliss absolute. Is it possible? Is there any goal? Is there any ideology before us? Here is Sri Ramakrishna, is the embodiment of that. Advaya Tattva, the Tattva, the truth, which is Advaya, non-dual. There is nothing two, that's the absolute one, and that is divine. That in that Tattva, here is a person who is Sri Ramakrishna. Samahita Chittam. His mind is totally absorbed into that absolute blissful state of oneness. And Prujjala Bhakti, Patavrita Vittam, but still at the same time, he is wearing a dress as it were. Pato Avrita, with the clothing. He has clothed himself as bhakti, the devotion, manifested in a shining devotion. And at the same time, he is engaged for the good of humanity. Karma Kalevaram Adbhuta Chestam. In his unique manner, he is engaged in doing good to the world. And that spiritual teacher is Sri Ramakrishna. Really, he has been also mentioned by Sarvadevananda Swami has defined him, that he is the establisher of Sarva Dharma Sthapaka. He is the establisher of all religions. And he is the embodiment of all religion. He is the teacher of all teachers. And that Ramakrishna we salute. This each definition is a really, we have to meditate. We are all made our life's goal, Sri Ramakrishna. We have to understand that Ramakrishna we worship, not the man Ramakrishna. Not a person who is emotionally dancing and singing in the name of in God. We are not worshipping that Ramakrishna. But we are worshipping that power, that infinite strength which can destroy all the doubts and confusions from our heart. Swami Vivekananda has given different expressions of what Sri Ramakrishna is. But I'll focus today about the doubt. Doubt is because we are focusing on our spiritual journey. Therefore, it is very important. Doubt is a crucial obstacle in our spiritual growth. Scripture said that you are Brahman. Why I am not understanding? Because there is doubt. If you are pure, if your mind is doubt-free, you don't question that this is a pew. There is no doubt, you see it, you experience it. Doubt comes, it's one of the function of the mind not to understand the truth so long it is clouded. So therefore, doubt is the blockage into our spiritual journey from the very beginning. There are people in the world, how many people believe in God? They say, I don't need God. That means there is no question about God's presence, and the doubt is so strong that it is unnecessary to think about something which is God, which is consciousness, what is all-pervaded truth. It is useless. It is nothing there. I see this universe, that's finished. Even if you talk and preach and the sages come and stand before them, all the Upanishads stand and declare before them, Srinnantu Visve Amritasya Putraha Ajidhamani Divyani Tostu. All time they are chanting these mantras. I have seen, I have realized, you can see, you whoever living in this earth and in heaven, I declare that I have realized that. We are also listening. Where is our doubt gone? Why not? I am feeling the same way. Question is the doubt. And doubt goes on and on and on. Ramakrishna, Vivekananda. The very first starting question is that, have you seen God? There's a doubt. Is there any God? Can God be seen? Spirituality starts there. That questioning about this reality and with a doubtful mind. But as we move into spiritual domain, what happened to Swami Vivekananda and what is the teaching Sri Ramakrishna gradually gave him? He has the faith in the without form, that God without form, but he cannot believe that God can be in the form. That was the very common conflict in those days. He came to Sri Ramakrishna and have those experiences. He's criticizing his brother, Rakhal. He's going to Ma Kali's temple and saluting before Ma Kali and said, hey, you signed your name in the Brahma Samaj that you don't bow down your head before any form. Form is not God. God is only formless, and you did it. And he threatened him, and Ramakrishna came to rescue him afterwards and saying, yes, that's also another view. Why are you troubling him? Let him have that. So the doubt is the question is that, and you know how much Sri Ramakrishna worked with Naren to get out of this doubt. Look at that. Every day Sri Ramakrishna, Naren, very first question, is there God? Have you seen God? Can God be seen? Doubt. He started saying, yes, it can be seen. I have seen. And I can show you. Doubt is disappearing. But still. And he says, and he touched him. And all this, you know how he had the experience. And he's crying, what are you doing? My mom is there. My dad is there. So what are you doing? This whole world is vanishing into like a dream world. What is this? Okay, let it be now up to that part. And then we find that in constant touch with Sri Ramakrishna, the doubt is gradually getting out and out and out into the picture. And look at that. ultimately going through so much of austerities and practices. And then Sri Ramakrishna is pulling off that concept that yes, God is in form as also in the formless. What he did, when his utter distress, he came to Ramakrishna and said that you, sir, do something for my mom and dad, and my dad is gone already. Mom and my sisters and brothers there, I cannot help, I cannot tolerate their suffering anymore. And then he sent it to Mother Kali. And Ramakrishna said straight, you don't believe my mother, what can I do for you? Doubt. And that doubt is so strong, you don't believe, what can I do? You live in the realm of the Shakti, but you are denying the Shakti. Yeah, you live in the British rule, or you say you live in the country in US rules, and you don't follow the rules. You don't care for that. How can you survive here? You have to follow the rules in which you are within the range you are living now. So he said, but I don't know your mother. Ramakrishna said, Naren said, I don't know your mother. I know you. You do something for me. Then he said, no, you go to my mother. And again he pushed him, and you know that story, wonderful story. First time went, and he found he used to think it is all statue. As most of the people think that Hindus worshipping their idols, stones, and all this gross matter they are worshipping. What type of base spiritual tradition is this? Sri Ramakrishna pointing out, no, you see with a different eye, and then doubt will disappear. And how it happened? Then he went, and he didn't see the statue, he didn't see the matter. He saw, it's a living entity, mother with full of love, with beautiful countenance, radiant with his light, and also full of giving something, as it a living presence. And then when that living presence was felt, he could not pray for his earthly needs anymore. And then what he prayed for the highest things of human goal of human life to accomplish. Oh Ma, give me devotion, give me love, so that I don't get bound in this world anymore. So he forgot about what he meant to want. So this doubt, how it is getting destroyed. And ultimately, such 3 times he saw, it is not a statue, it is a living entity. He can give everything, whatever is wanted from her. So it's a new change in the attitude of Naren. And what happened afterwards? Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, the material suffering will be not that much. You will have some gross material fulfillment of your needs, food and clothing, that's okay. But what major thing is that Sri Ramakrishna was excited. He said, oh, Naren have accepted my mother. Naren have accepted my mother. And he taught him to sing, oh mother, you are in the water, tumi jale, tumi sthale, tumi adda mule goma. That song. Ma tanghi tara, tumi tiguno dhara, parat parama tanghi tara. Then you are in the water, you are in the fire, you are in this space, you are in the trees, plants, etc. It's a mother everywhere. This mother was never ever in the existence in the mind of Naren. And that mother became palpably present in every being and in everything of the creation. Okay? Then, if we go forward, look at Swami Vivekananda. I am only focusing on Swami Vivekananda's life. Then you find that Sri Ramakrishna was found to be having cancer, and then he has moved to the garden house of Kashipur, and there Swami Vivekananda and others are doing tremendous spiritual austerities and sadhanas, and then Ramakrishna in the last days, and he is asking for samadhi, samadhi, samadhi. And that samadhi, one day it happened. Swami Vivekananda was meditating in the ground floor and Ramakrishna is in the next floor, and suddenly Naren lost his whole outer consciousness and whole body becomes stiff like a dead body. So the brother monk got really frightened and went and reported to Ramakrishna. And what Ramakrishna said, "Oh, it's good. Let the rascal be like that for some time." He was troubling me for a long time like this, to have that. Let him have. And then we find that after having that experience, he comes to Ramakrishna. And Ramakrishna said, "Now you got the taste of it, no? The transcendental realization, that Nirvikalpa stage, you have got it now. Now you have to do mother's work and the key will be with me. And now mother's work and the key will be with me." These are mystic languages. What is mother, what is Brahman, what is this, what is key, I do not know. But, this is going on. You can say the full life, if we look from that, where there is a doubt of existence of God, to come to God exist in the without form everywhere, we find that God is in the form, and that form is everywhere. There is nothing but that Mother Divine. That was experienced. And now the Nirvikalpa state of Samadhi has been attained. But still, why it is called demon, Samshaya Rakshasa. Demon, the demon of the doubt. Doubt, so long we are human beings, little doubt will remain. Now look at Swami Vivekananda, such a spiritual giant, is sitting one day in Ramakrishna's room, in the corner of the room in Kashipur garden house, the same place, and thinking that probably Ramakrishna was going to leave his body within few days. And he was seated in a corner, and just a thought came. He says that he is an incarnation. Sometimes he declares that. If he can say this at this point of time, then I can believe. Come to the point, very serious question. Swami Vivekananda at this point putting a question in the mind, Ramakrishna, who is Ramakrishna? Is he Avatara? He is God himself? Came down, as Ramakrishna said, Avatara is what? Avatara is that who is God, comes down in disguise to see the suffering of the created being. So he is, the king himself came in disguise. Now he is putting this question in his mind, the doubt still. Yes, I have seen so much of Ramakrishna. Day and night I have tested him. But the question is he really incarnation? Can he declare that he is incarnation again? See, last point you see. And then Sri Ramakrishna instantly said what? "Oh Naren, still doubt." The word is still doubt. He who was Rama, he who was Krishna, he is Ramakrishna, but not according to your Vedanta. See the question. Doubt, that's why Sri Ramakrishna is the dispeller of doubt. That is a very important point in our spiritual life to understand. He has come as soon as we think of Sri Ramakrishna, the pure, absolutely stainless character, pure blessedness, pure consciousness, pure God intoxication. When we think of that, instantly the doubts gradually wipe out from the heart of the spiritual aspirant who is trying to meditate on or thinking of. That's why Swami Shivananda used to say, you need not have to, what mantra? I do not know any mantra. You just repeat the name of Ramakrishna in this age. His name itself will remove all these doubts and confusions. So this is the way Sri Ramakrishna is to be looked upon, that he is the remover of the doubt. And we are just give an example. It is for Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, their play is for us to understand, us to imbibe some values and meaning from their all the happenings in their life, to show to the world that it is incarnation is not for any particular person, but it is for all. Swami Vivekananda, and speaking on the glory of avatar, incarnation, he says, those who are avatars, Swami Vivekananda says, those by whose grace the knowledge of the Atman, which is extolled in the scriptures, is attained in a minute, are the moving tirthas, or the seat of holiness, the incarnations. So who is incarnation? Incarnation is that person who, by casting a glance, or touching, or mere wish, can remove all the darkness, remove all the doubts, and can give instant experience of the supreme reality. So it is the who can extol, which has been extolled in the scriptures, that knowledge of the self removes all confusions and doubts. Vidyate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva sangsaya kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. In the Upanishad it declares, tasmin drishte paravare, if one sees that ultimate reality is a supreme reality, tasmin drishte paravare, kshiyante chasya karmani, they are all karmas of lives and lives of all the good karmas, bad karmas, which we are all carrying as a bundle of our sanskaras and impressions, that can be wiped out totally. Kshiyante chasya karmani. If one can see or experience that tasmin drishte, one can experience and realize that supreme being, tasmin drishte paravare. And vidyante hridaya granthi, all the knots of the heart, all our binding with the what you call the just juxtaposition of each other with the matter and the spirit. Understanding spirit as matter and matter as spirit. This confusion, this is the knot. Vidyante, it gets cut, shattered, and doubts, all doubts will vanish. That is the Upanishadic statement. And who is Avatara? He who can do this, being in this life. You may say, where is that Ramakrishna? Can he do? When he was human being, he could have done. But who can he do now? Yes, he can do also that. In one place, who said that? Dakshineshwarer gorarai sab korite pare. Swami, he said, it is to Swami Vivekananda probably, he said in one place. The gorarai, that means the love incarnate, Gora is Sri Chaitanya. Gorarai of Dakshineshwar, that means Sri Chaitanya of this age, Sri Ramakrishna, can do everything. Even from a distance, he can do everything. Everywhere is his eyes. That's why he's called incarnation. That Ramakrishna you worship. We don't worship a man Ramakrishna. And also you worship that Ramakrishna who has not come to create a cult. What is Ramakrishna? He may put a question, why we are Vedanta, we are talking about Vedanta and you put Ramakrishna here? What type of double dealing? No. It means Ramakrishna you worship means you worship universality. Ramakrishna you worship means you want spirituality. Ramakrishna you worship means you want illumination and not any dogma, doctrine or anything. And Ramakrishna means you need not have to convert from anything to anything, but to convert your heart. And that is the exemplification. That is Ramakrishna we worship. And that we have to be very convinced in our life that in Ramakrishna, the combination of all spiritual attainments are there. Sarva dharma sthapakastam. That's why. He is the establisher of all dharma. Mean what? How come? This is a ridiculous statement. Ramakrishna came and all the religions came afterwards. Christianity came afterwards. Islam came afterwards. He came that day. How he can be establishing the religions? All religions. It is to be understood, religion was there. Swami Vivekananda said, religion was lifeless mockeries. Because it's only doctrines and dogmas and this and that, do's and don'ts. Where was religion? The core of religion is realization. Core of religion is love. Core of religion is intoxication. Core of religion is destruction of the doubts of the mind and to create new spiritual giants in the world. That is religion. Every religion, Swami Vivekananda says, have produced men of exalted characters. That is the meaning of religion. And this religion, Sri Ramakrishna injected into it. How? By being an symbol of all of that himself. He practiced, that's why so many facets of spiritual traditions, and he became an embodiment of all that. That's why the devotees who come from any perspective, any spiritual tradition, can find that it is his ideal is standing here. What is the ideal? He transforms, as it were. He becomes the Sikh guru. And the Sikh devotees come. And now in this country we know, we are hearing that Sikhism is a different religion from Hinduism. Yes, that's true. They have their certain practices maybe. But only Sikh devotees used to come to Ramakrishna. They used to feel that there is their Dasama Guru, the 10th Guru is sitting there and he's an embodiment of that. So, not a Vaishnava devotee coming. He's the embodiment of that religion, means that what is Vaishnavism? Vaishnavism is loving God to that extent. You cry and weep for God, and seeing you, I get inspired to have such devotion to develop in our life. So you find the Vaishnavas are coming, and Sri Ramakrishna, as soon as they come, he becomes intoxicated in the Vaishnava ideal, and he starts singing and dancing and becoming one, and they totally get charged by his presence. That's Sarva Dharma Sthapakara. That is the establishment of that particular dharma, because it is the transformation in the life. It is the saturated experience of joy and blissfulness of God in a particular tradition. The tantric people used to come. Vedanta students are coming. Vedanta scholars are coming. And you see how Sri Ramakrishna become just like a, what you call, the colors, change the color. What is the mongoose, no? Chameleon. That animal changes the color according to the color of the environment, no? But content is the same, God and nothing else. So divinity, God, purity, love, compassion and holiness, this is the same. Only according to the necessity of the student's mind, he gets transformed into himself. That's why it is called he is the universal, he is the embodiment of all universalism. That's why we keep Ramakrishna. Even in, sometimes people may think, people don't, in our gurus normally sometimes gives Ramakrishna. Why? Not to create a cult, but to remove the confusion in the mind. Christ is separate, Rama is separate, or Shiva is separate, and this is separate. No. To get this doubt, what a great benefit of it. If we understand that the purpose of this is to destroy, because Sri Ramakrishna himself have destroyed those doubts. So we have to look at Ramakrishna from this perspective, that he is the remover of all our confusions in the mind, and by living that life he has become an ideal for all. Beautiful. Adbhutananda Swami said, or I think Swami Vivekananda maybe, he said that Sri Ramakrishna embodies an ideal of everyone. He was an ideal householder. an ideal monk, an ideal guru, an ideal disciple. Ideal householder, yes. The whole world can learn out of that Ramakrishna's life how to live together, how to love each other. Householder life means not fight. Householder life means joy and bliss. How to attain to that bliss? Look at Ramakrishna, the highest ideal. He has lived, and how he has lived. He stands an example there. And the doubt that it is not possible, it is only possible for the monks, that conflict is gone, because we see during his lifetime, with his love, the devotees who grew around him, Nag Mahasaya, Master Mahasaya, and all, and others, Ramchandra Datta, Devendranath Majumdar, I find Girish Ghosh, etc. We find innumerable examples. Their lives have come, and we can easily gather it together to find, yes, it is not exclusive spiritual tradition for the monastics only. Householder life, yes, is an example, and that can be a source of God realization. It can be done. He stands there an ideal. And the monasticism, you can find in him the ideal of monasticism. And he cannot touch a coin. His mind is so pure, so much up from this world. He does not see anything but divine and mother. Any other thought comes, even Swami Brahmananda one day in his childhood play, he said something, not seriously, just for fun. Ramakrishna said, I cannot look at your face. And he said, what did I do? I didn't do anything. But long afterwards understood that he, in a playful mood, said something which is not true. So you can see that he is an ideal in the monastic life. That's why he said ideal monk and ideal guru. Who is ideal guru? That's why it is Jagat Guru and earthly guru different. Jagat Guru is, they can look at the person and particularly prescribe the particular medicine for it. Good doctors are what? Best doctors? Those who can really know the individual symptoms and give the exact medicine what is necessary. And doctors may also give a general medicine. Oh, you have high fever? Okay, take Tylenol. Or just simple example, too simple. Okay, you have some virus. Okay, go and take this antibiotic. Finish. But no, the specialized doctors, they go into details of it. So incarnation is a specialized doctor. You look at that. Sri Ramakrishna, 16 young children. They are all pure souls. Vivekananda, Brahmananda, Abhedananda, Sarvadevananda, Ramakrishnananda, you can go on naming them. Latu Maharaj, See, each one have their own direction. When Swami Vivekananda, young Naren, out of enthusiasm, asked Swami Abhedananda, that okay, when I will be meditating, you be with me and touch me. And he touched. And he felt afterwards, after that meditation, when he came down and he said, how do you feel? He said, I felt like electric shock coming from your body. And when Ramakrishna came to know, he scolded him. Why he was growing in one way and why you interrupted in his journey? Anyhow, this type of individual need. He could read the mind, just seeing a student. He can read what is there in the mind and what will be the best thing that he used to guide for every individual. That's why this is ideal guru. Ideal guru means that normal guru will give the same mantra or common mantra or something like that. But this is the world teachers. When they come, they actually give the mantra according to the need of that person. And an ideal guru and also ideal disciple. When he was a student as if he knows nothing. He is a child in the hand of the teacher. You see, when Bhairavi Brahmani came, look at her instructions and what Ramakrishna is asked to do and how he is doing. So this is the point, to understand that he is ideal. Moreover, his life can serve as an example for all faiths and all sects. He is an ideal of worshippers of Shakti, attained perfection in all important tantric sadhanas. He is an ideal Vaishnava of Vaishnavites, for his devotion to Hari was unparalleled. He is an ideal for the Shaivites, has attained the vision of the Lord Shiva too. He is an ideal for devotees of Ramachandra, for he saw Sita, Rama. He is an ideal for the Vedantins as well, having experienced Nirvikalpa Samadhi. He is also an ideal of Christians and Mohammedans because he had the vision of Christ and also of the prophets. So this is a perspective of Sri Ramakrishna. Ordinary man, there was a gentleman, his name was Brahmavan Upadhyay. He was the first follower of Keshav Sen in the Brahmo movement, who started the Brahmo movement in Calcutta during Ramakrishna's time. He was well known as a speaker, very great leader. He was an editor of a Bengali daily. Later, he left the new dispensation of the Brahmo movement and joined the Anglican Church, and afterwards also he changed into the Roman Catholic religion. But he has a beautiful statement about Ramakrishna. He said, "Who was Ramakrishna? Well, I do not know, but this much I can say, that in the firmament of Bengal, no other moon of such sweetness has risen since Lord Gauranga, Sri Chaitanya. Even the moon is not spotless, but this moon of Ramakrishna is absolutely free from spots. His divine body was pure and bright, like fire itself. Never was it contaminated by the slightest touch of sex. When he was married, his wife was only 6. 10 years after his marriage, he met for the second time this woman who was chastity personified. Ramakrishna worshipped her when she was 16 as the Divine Mother. He followed all the Hindu rituals and then offered his rosary at her feet. What a beautiful life. It is unique in human history. Many saints and prophets renounced their wives for God, but Ramakrishna renunciation was not of ordinary type. It was the highest acceptance. Go once and sit for a while at the blessed feet of him so reverently worshipped. Who is Ramakrishna? He was a knower of Brahman. Who is this Ramakrishna? He is the prince of the sadhakas. He had practiced the main spiritual disciplines of various religions, sects of the world with great sincerity, intensity and love. And thus he realized God in many ways. He attained Samadhi by following the path of yoga, tasted divine love by following the path of the gopis, and saw the Divine Mother by following the path of Tantra. He also practiced sadhana according to Islam. Thus Sri Ramakrishna's life depicts the harmony of religion, fully established in his consciousness of the immutable Brahman and keeping intact the continuity of eternal religion of the Aryans. Sri Ramakrishna welcomed with open arms all diversities of spiritual life and enriched India by incorporating in it all the new spiritual forces and directing all of them to non-dual Advaita. Salutation to Sri Ramakrishna, the conqueror of lust and gold, knower of Brahman, king among devotees, savior of men, kind and deep ocean where the rivers of all religions merged. It's a beautiful poetic description of the very powerful person. So what we wanted to conclude again with these few points, that Sri Ramakrishna we worship. Sri Ramakrishna is not a man. If we look at that, as you think, so you become. If you think your chosen ideal is such some a good man, then you will be good. Your achievement will be up to good man. If you target your goal that he is a holy man, you will be holy. If you target him as the embodiment of consciousness, you will be embodiment of consciousness. If you think that he is the embodiment of all religious, you will be a man or woman of religion, of harmony. Your presence will bring harmony to the people. So this is the point. So we have to target what is our worship of Ramakrishna. Means Sri Ramakrishna is called Deva Manava. He is a divine, at the same time human. Human, at the same time divine. On one side you see is the human side. He is an ordinary man. He is breaking his arms. He is like crying for the breaking of the arm and suggesting, oh, how shall I get cured? Going to the doctors, oh, I have a sore throat, can you cure me? So, like a child, he is living like us, but at the same time, he is superhuman. That's why Sarvadevananda Swami described Ramakrishna as a man, at the same time, he is superhuman. And Swami Vivekananda has defined him. This is the way I think we should all think of Ramakrishna in this way. Because we cannot see a distant star unless we go through a telescope or microscope, a star to be and to see the finer thing to the telescope. So these are the lens through which we should look. Swami Vivekananda in the evening prayer, we all pray all the time this prayer, that he is the Niranjan, means free from all blemishes, at the same time hold a human form. So through the human form, you can see the stainless, pure, divine lurking behind. The simplicity of the purity, the beauty, the grace of blessedness is just coming up. See how we can, as our mind becomes really, really in touch with Ramakrishna, this natural purity of the heart opens up. That's why we worship Ramakrishna, to avoid all conflict, all doubt, all differentiation of all religious practices, traditions, this, that, they merge into Sri Ramakrishna. It is not any fanatic idea that we are imposing to think about Ramakrishna. Because Ramakrishna is that. If anyone belonging to Ramakrishna tradition and does not believe in this, probably he is not following this ideal of this order or ideal of this tradition. That Sri Ramakrishna is, though human, but it is superhuman. Though he is holding a physical frame, that he is the absolute stainless reality. Though he is within the three gunas, playing in the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, no? He is also going, he is also talking, he is also going to meet the devotees of Calcutta, giving advice and this, but at the same time, he is beyond all the gunas. He is the remover of all the sins and misdeeds of our mind, touching. Even, that's why he says, Bhikshane mohojai. You know, if he looks at us, just glance, our all delusion will go away. Or in another way, reciprocating way, if we can look at Ramakrishna with that earnestness, then all the doubts and all the blemishes of the heart will be purified. And Sri Ramakrishna is the embodiment of the consciousness. As we say, this Ramakrishna is, who is Ramakrishna? You know, condensed milk. So much of milk you can condense. And now take condensed milk. And then again you just make it a rabdi, or what you call, or you make a more condensed form. And then ultimately all condensation takes a human form as it were. That is milk, but this is consciousness and bliss. Chaitanya, Ananda, Madhu, honey. Condense. And if it can take a human form, and that is called Ramakrishna. Honey. Joy. But why don't we feel? That is our doubt. And that's why we'll have to look at him intently. Ramakrishna said, if you cannot, Mahapurush Maharaj says, if you cannot do anything, just keep a picture of Ramakrishna. Just look at him. You need not have to do anything. Just look at him. The mind will be purified. He has said, Chit Ghanakai. Swami Vivekananda defined that he is the condensation of all the anand and bliss together. It's a human form. It is, and when you look at him, he glances, then it is gone. Even if we with love and devotion can look at him, our blemishes of the heart, our delusion of the heart will be destroyed. He is the Lord of the universe, and he, another definition Swami Vivekananda gave, Yoga Sahai. He is very friendly to a person who is practicing yoga. Yoga means union. Who is trying to unite with God, this Sri Ramakrishna is a great benefit for that person. It is help for that person. And he removes all the blemishes, all the pains and agonies of life. Because we are in pain and agony because we are away from God. When we will be able to connect with God by God's grace or whatever our practice, then. And another sign, who is Ramakrishna? We want that Ramakrishna, who is Banchana Kamakanchana, who has given up all the touch of the matter and material thing. So, which can, Ramakrishna from the beginning, look at that. He is renouncing all the education. Why? Will it give me God realization? He said, no. What it will give? It will give you house, building, money, wealth and eating and having some luxurious life. Then he said, I don't care for that. So he has renounced that. He is not a fool. And giving us the direction that if we want to be eternally peaceful, you ought to focus on that side. Not that we will be like them, give up everything. That is not the point. But to pay attention to the goal of life is to have that highest treasure to achieve in our life, so that these lower things become of less interest. And gradually, and he is the embodiment of tyaga, renunciation, detachment. So if we can take any aspect of it, we'll be really fulfilled. If we can really detach and stay in the world, who can give us any suffering? We suffer because we are attached. And Ramakrishna is the embodiment of that detachment. Tyagishwara. In the Khandana Bhava Bandhana, every day we sing. These are the wonderful descriptions Swami Vivekananda has given. We can pick and choose about the understanding about Sri Ramakrishna. He says, he is the Jyotira Jyoti. Who is Ramakrishna? Ramakrishna is this light. This is called the Jyoti. He is the light of the light. That Upanishad says, Tasya bhasha sarvamidam vibhati. He shining, everything shines. Who is behind the sun, the moon, the stars? Whose glory, whose light? And that is the light of the light. That's why Sri Ramakrishna has been defined. He is not a man, woman or anything in one place. This is the definition, a unique description of Ramakrishna. In any praise, when we praise someone, we describe how beautiful he looks, how his eyes are so nice, how his nose is beautiful, how his eyebrows are beautiful, ears are beautiful. We describe like that. But Swami Vivekananda described Ramakrishna, but never mentioned any physical characteristic. He is only emphasizing his spiritual characteristic. That's why he says he is the Jyotira Jyoti. He is a human, at the same time superhuman. He is the embodiment of consciousness and blessedness. He is the embodiment of love personified. Love and nothing else. Unconditional grace and love. And he is the, in one case, Swami Vivekananda says, who is Ramakrishna? He is the Father of God. Father of God. Bhagavanir Baba. That means it is the question that Sri Ramakrishna is to be looked upon that perspective. Otherwise, our spiritual attainment will be really blocked in some area. So it is endless discussion, and more important that what we want to emphasize that, again I am saying that one point, that we have our doubt. But we ought to be doubt-free by what? Not blindly following any path. But you look at Ramakrishna's life and match, then you will find there is a solution. We cannot doubt it. It has been tested. That day it has been tested. It is a tested and verified truth. So if it has been done by Ramakrishna in his lifetime by himself and others became doubt-free, we have the opportunity to be doubt-free. And without freeing from our doubts, we cannot get the realization. As I said, Ramakrishna's last one, still doubt that he who was Rama, he who was Krishna, he is Ramakrishna. Not according to your Vedanta. Vedanta does not believe in incarnation. In Vedanta you are also an incarnation, I am also incarnation. Vedanta says it is useless. It is in manifestation. You can say, he is great, I am less. But in the absolute sense of Vedanta, there is no need of such thing. So they say Brahman everywhere. But as a manifestation in a devotional school, you talk when you are in the limited body and mind, yes, Rama, God incarnated, Krishna, God incarnated, he is the same who is Ramakrishna. So let us pray that we can have this type of understanding about Ramakrishna and really make our life free.